Am I overreacting, or is the NFL in a state of emergency? I can't remember games being this bad. And it led to a lot of conversation about how the NFL is kind of having like a down year. The year has not been that good for the NFL. I think it's more of an overreaction because the Week 10 slate wasn't all that, but halfway through the season, we have the most one-score games in the history of the NFL halfway through the season. I mean, these games, they've been very competitive. And then it led to another conversation of, okay, but they're bad close games and the quarterback play is down. So I have a question for you guys. Do you think quarterback play is better now than it was 10 years ago? 10, 15 years ago when we had Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Payne, Tom Brady. Is quarterback play better now or was it better then?
I think I think all of us are going to have different answers because
that's a question I need hours to sit and think about.
The nostalgia is definitely still in tune.
Because you say Breeze, you say Brady,
Phillip
you say
Rivers
Peyton,
was around.
You say Big Ben, you say Phillip Rivers.
Michael Vick was
These
around.
are some of the all-time greatest quarterbacks to ever put on a uniform. Matt Ryan was also a part of that.
Russell Wilson was walking in.
Russell Wilson was perfectly.
Shit, we might be right.
So you look at the new school, and that's one of the main reasons we've seen defenses adjust because almost every elite level quarterback has the ability to throw the ball 50, 55, potentially even 60 yards deep down the field, which is why there's so many too high safety, which is now why we're seeing so many running backs lead their team and be one of the main reasons for a lot of team success. That's been a big conversation in fantasy football too, that this whole zero RB strategy went to shit this year because there's been so many high level running backs and not that many high level receivers. I think the only two consistent wide receivers on a week-to-week basis are Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Amon-Ra has a 7-game touchdown streak, and even still, it's not like we've seen of him perform the way that he's performed in years past because that offense obviously is just so run-dependent right now with Jameer and Monty. I would say it was better then because I've gotten to see how their careers turned out. I know Peyton Manning's one of the all-time greats. He's top 3, top 4 ever. I know Brady's the GOAT. I know Ben Roethlisberger will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I know Drew Brees will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Matt Ryan will, at one point in time, I believe will be a Hall of Famer. I just think that I don't know with these young guys. Do I believe Mahomes is top 2 all time? Yes. Do I believe Josh Allen's an all time great? Joe Burrow can do that. Do I think Lamar Jackson's already an all time great? Yeah, I do because they're playmakers. I just think that these quarterbacks in the last 10 years, they were a lot smarter. Their decision making was a little bit more refined. Their pocket presence was great because they didn't have to rely on their athleticism. They couldn't rely on their athleticism. Let me rephrase that. They had to win in the pocket. I think that that's what stands out to me the most when it comes to those. So it's really a tough conversation because Mahomes is just so overwhelmingly better than everybody else, in my opinion. That maybe that's what's skewing it because back then, I mean, Brady and Peyton was a conversation until Brady ran away. Aaron Rodgers was in conversation for the most talented quarterback until Patrick Mahomes came along. So it's like Drew Brees never won an MVP, but he had every record in the quarterback history book until he retired. And then, of course, Brady played forever, so he took everything back from him. So I think I'll go with those guys. But damn, it's not taking away anything from these guys.
But even then, like right now, we have some top-end quarterback play with Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Joe Burrow. Kyler Murray's playing at an exceptional level. We have Jalen Hurts playing well with the Eagles. And then, like, what's the difference between Phillip Rivers and Dak Prescott?
I don't think there's much of a difference. I think people, like we do with everything, there's so much nostalgia when it comes to these old quarterbacks in 2014. Like, I just looked up 2014 passing leaders, right? Because we talk about Brees and Brady and all these dudes, but you had Kyle Orton play. You had Blake Bortles play. You had Geno Smith on the Jets play. You had Josh McCown play a bunch of games. Like, you had dudes that aren't good still playing. Like, I feel like so much of the conversation today is like, oh, you have these young quarterbacks who aren't ready. You have all these bad quarterback play. But it's like, there's still like 20 good quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel like for the majority of our time, like you're always going to have terrible quarterback play, no matter what. There's never going to be a time in the NFL where there's 32 great quarterbacks because the Jets are never going to be able to figure it out. It seems like the Bears can never figure it out, right? So there's always going to be those teams that just can't get quarterback right, or you have a quarterback injury or whatever might happen. So I still think the top end talent is pretty similar, right? Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Luck, Breeze, all of these guys. But we have Patrick Mahomes, we have Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. So I don't really see the top end being that much different. Like, of course, they're solidified because their careers are over. When Burrow and all these dudes are solidified, I don't know if there's going to be much of a gap in terms of like actual talent, like rings and shit. It's going to be hard to say. But actual talent wise, I don't think we're that much different than what we were 10 years ago.
So this is an interesting stat. In 2024 this year, 26 quarterbacks have a QBR of 50 or more. In 2011, 19 quarterbacks had a QBR of 50 plus or more. I have the passing leaders in 2011 and 2024 this year.
Do you want us to cook up?
Yeah, let me know which one you guys think is better.
You said 2000. Oh, I thought you were going
2011.
to tell us to name them. Never
Yeah.
mind.
2011, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Stafford, Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, Big Ben, and Cam Newton. And I'll just go to 15 just to add some more names to give people an idea of who played at that time. At 11, you had Fitzpatrick. Then you had Joe Flacco. Then you had Josh Freeman, Matt Hasselbeck, Mark Sanchez. And then at 16, Andy Dalton. This year, the top 15, 16, I'll even go 18 because there's a lot of quarterbacks here. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, Geno, Baker, Purdy, CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, Stafford, Rodgers, Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Darnold, Goff, Daniel Jones, Kyler, Trevor Lawrence, Dak, and Jalen Hurts.
This sounds more talented.
Daniel Jones was in there.
I know, but even still, I feel like there was more depth here than there was on the older list.
I think like the high
Fitzpatrick,
end,
what year did you pull from?
it was with the Bills
This one
in
felt better
2011.
for sure.
Also, the Josh Freeman nod there was kind of
Shout out to
That's
Josh
kind of what
for-
Sam Darnold's doing this year, right?
agreed. Not going to say that that's crazy. You didn't mention Peyton in there either.
He probably neck
He was
injury this
injured,
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was
2011.
2011.
Yes.
Got it. Oh, if you would have pulled a couple of years later, it might have been a little bit more impressive list.
Yeah. Let me look at 20. Let's see. What do you
I have
think?
2014 up if you
2014?
want me to run
Okay.
it.
I got 2014. It's
If you go 2013, that's Peyton's prime year.
2014 is you want me to do Payne's prime year?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's do 2013 then. It's Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Stafford, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Andy Dalton, Carson Palmer, Big Ben, Ryan Tannehill, Joe Flacco, Tony Romo, Andrew Luck, Eli Manning, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Alex Smith, Chad Henne, Robert Griffin, and Colin Kaepernick. Those were the top 20.
See, this list I can get behind. There's a few polar bears, but for majority, that's defining an era.
I still
I
feel
heard
like
Chad Penny in there.
I feel like
That's the one I agree.
I feel like 2024 though, you're gonna have 15
Agreed.
dudes. You
I'm
fucking
not
love.
disagreeing
Yeah.
with you. 100%. I think that this quarterback, let me not say class, but the group of quarterbacks that we have in the National Football League now is amazing.
And the quarterbacks that aren't even in the top 20 in passing yards this year in 2024, Justin Herbert and Jordan Love.
Yep.
And Tua's outside of it as well because he didn't play a couple
banged
games.
up.
So those three quarterbacks that are really good quarterbacks in this era
To a movie
that are not
last
there.
night?
No.
The ones that he was escaping out the pocket?
He was terrible last night.
Terrible.
Yeah.
He was only bad in the second quarter.
He was like begging to be intercepted like 5-6 times.
Offensive line really was bad yesterday too, but I was kind of impressed.
You watch him with rose-colored glasses, man.
I didn't think that the second quarter was good.
Did you think Tua played well? Did you?
I thought he was like a 6 out of 10. Thought
He was
fine.
pretty like mid.
Second half, I thought he was
Yeah,
better.
facts.
Second half, he was
when you
definitely
needed
better.
him to step up, he made big plays.
Yeah, and that last drive too, we had a couple really nice throws.
Yeah. This is the thing. I haven't mentioned this yet, but the Dolphins' offense has been figured out. Like what teams are
bad.
doing is that they're just stacking the middle of the field and they're saying Tua throw outside the numbers. That's what they're doing. You look at the heat maps from this year and last year, the Dolphins' offense. Last year, the middle of the field past 10 yards, that's all red. Those sideline shots, you have them red. This year, it's all blue. Like teams are stacking that area, and that's really led to the inconsistencies of this offense and a bigger storyline that's led to Tyreek Hill not playing well. Like a big reason why with the Chiefs he didn't have the Dolphins output was because that's how they played the Chiefs. They just put too high and they said we're just gonna take Tyreek Hill and these deep shots out of the game, and he didn't have like the eye-popping production he had when he got to Miami. And teams are doing that to the Dolphins right now. So their offense has been figured out. But I definitely think, maybe the top end quarterback 10 to 15 years ago was better outside of like the top 5, because I think the top 5 is pretty formidable when we have the guys we have now. I think the depth is a lot better now. Like there's a lot of dudes. Like Jordan Love is a dude. Justin Herbert.
See, I would have went to like Baker Mayfield. Like when you get past like the real ones, like Baker Mayfield.
Brock Purdy's a dude.
You have Brock. You have Tua. You have Geno.
Like Jordan Love's like top 10. Of course he's a dude.
yeah, I mean Jordan Love.
Trevor Lawrence. We didn't even mention.
Yeah, outside the top 5, like Stafford, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Hurts, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert. I do think he's a top 5 quarterback, though. I mentioned.
I was gonna say like Stafford
Yeah.
and Herbert. I'm fine with Herbert getting the nod. I'm fine with Stafford getting the nod. I
Like
really
there's
am.
so many good quarterbacks nowadays that like you have to have one of those upper echelon dudes.
And if you don't, you have to be the Lions and just be stacked everywhere and have like the best offensive play caller in the NFL and one of the best like morale guys and leaders in Dan Campbell. It's one or the other.
Yeah, but it was an interesting conversation about, what quarterback era is better, because Mina Kimes replied with, she thinks quarterback play is better than ever. And then somebody quote tweeted her with like a screenshot of the 2011 top 10 passing leaders.
Just they're all timers. Like, of course, you see Breeze and fucking Peyton. These are just like, oh my God, this is the best quarterbacks ever. But
Screenshot of 2011. You leave Payne out there. That guy folded.